Nigeria is riddled with the issues of godfatherism, and Lagos State, called the Center of Excellence, is not exempted from this. Lagos State, a very popular state in Nigeria. In fact, Lagos State is, we can call Lagos State the heartbeat of Nigeria, as whatever happens in Lagos affects every other state. Now, there are some concerns that have been raised, and I brought you that story. And someone decided to come up with Otoge Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Otoge Lagos. The same Otoge was brought up, and it's a protest against someone in Kwara State, former Senate President Bukola Saraki. And this Otoge was created by no other person than Bola Ahmed Tinubu, called Jagaban, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, Otoge was created in Lagos. But of course, you know that Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he has entrenched himself in all nooks and crannies of Lagos. And it might be a little bit difficult for him to be, unseated out of that position of godfather that he is. Right now, there are stories of how Fola Tinubu Primero may have fueled the Okada and Keke ban with the introduction of the new mini buses. Now, a lot of pictures have gone viral, and a lot of people have even seen pictures of mini buses. Some come in yellow, some come in red, and they have emerged on social media with people speculating they may be possible, that is the possible replacement for bike and tricycles. Now, one would have said, well, there's nothing wrong with these. After all, we all say, oh, we want our state to be, want to make them look like maybe Dubai. You want your state to look like New York and stuff like that. You want your states to come up to look much more fancy, much more beautiful and much more organized, and a place where other people will fancy the structures and the organizations of things there. Now, this tricycle is said to be a replacement for keke, napep, tricycles and bikes, which was banned 1st of February 2020. Now, that's a welcome development to some people, because they claim that Hausa Fulani were using the opportunity of this keke and this tricycles and the rest of this Okada business to infiltrate the southern part of Nigeria. But then there are other people that are jobless, and this is the only way they feed their families. Now, these little guys have been spotted, that's the Primero, on the streets of Lagos, and it seems like I said, they will be the replacement for Keke Napep, Bajaj, or RE60, primarily built for the Indian domestic market. It has a 200cc to 20 horsepower rear-mounted engine. Now, what do you think about this? These Indian-made mini buses possess, like I said, 200cc to 20 horsepower engine, and they claim that this might likely be more comfortable, a deviation from the three-wheeled keke that Lagosians and Nigerians know. Now, far from the comfort that these vehicles could provide, to long-suffering Lagosians who had to trek long distance due to the premature ban of keke napep and tricycle, the process that brought about the ban and the entrance of the buses remain suspicious to a lot of people, and a lot of people are not taking this lightly as they are speaking out about this. Now, like I said there's nothing wrong with introduction of a more better means of transportation anywhere in the world. After all, you don't find keke napep and Okada and the rest of this motor machine in much more developed countries. You don't find that in New York. You don't find that in the United States of America. You don't find that in Europe. You don't find these public means of transportation just everywhere, here and there, without a form of control or law or order, as we find in Nigeria. There's so much tricycles, so much, although there are some people that try to put a kind of arrangement structure to it, but then it is still all over the place. And that being said, I also said a lot of people feed their families with this business, and all of a sudden it was cut short. I watched a video of a young man that came up with this packaged keke napep business where they put on shirt and trouser with a tie. Now, that being said, I'm not saying that is the best way to dress. You have to be very smart, but then that was the market that is sold to people. You have to be dressed for tropics. You can't put on shirt and trouser with a tie while driving keke napep. It is never comfortable because you don't have air condition, and we live in the tropical region. Tropics, you don't put on stuff like that. You put on short knickers and stuff like that. Not because we don't have colder weather. Well, you know what I mean. Anyway, this young man complained very bitterly of how he invested in this business, and all of a sudden he has nothing else to do. How does he diversify this business? How is he going to get out of this business? Where are they going to sell this tricycle? Are they going to sell it to other African countries? What is going to happen to all of these tricycles and keke napep? Or is the government going to later review these keke napep issues and what have you? Now, there is a catch to all of this, and there are suspicious move about all of this. People are very suspicious about this, and they are speaking out. Primero, a transport and logistic company operating the very popular BRT buses in Lagos State, is speculated to be the owner of the new mini buses, and people have started making appearances around Lagos. The company is run. Now, that's the point that people are raising by Ademola Sheriki and Fola Tinubu. Is the Ademola Sheriki is the chairman, while the managing director is Fola Tinubu. Fola Tinubu, relative of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. No, I brought you a lot of stories of how people are complaining of how they've taken over everything. In fact, they say there is something called blueprint in Lagos State, and that's the reason why Ambode, not because Ambode too did not dip his hands in the cookie jar, he did. All of these politicians are criminals, they are thieves. Ambode was kicked out because they claimed he wasn't following the blueprint. And what is the blueprint? Ability for them and the rest of their supporters to dip their hands in the cookie jar. And it seems as if they said he kept all for himself or something like that. Now, the blueprint, also from the talks that are there are allegations there that there is a way they opened up a company, and this company is, the owner of this company is Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and it's headed by his son, who they claim that is being pushed on Lagosians right now, and he might become Lagos State governor after this Sanwo-Olu. Now, they say that the way they run the tax system and the system being run, they have a private and public and the government system, and they have a private system which is owned by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and money goes in back and forth here and there. And they said, why do you have to have the government operation if there is a private one also collecting money? So what are we saying here? Money is shared from one point to the other, and it is government money. And somehow they claim that Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been able to put this structure down, just like how the man that they claim is one of the reasons we don't have electricity in Nigeria, Atiku Abubakar, how he created his own private company when he was the head of customs and the rest of that. So they are able to corner money into their own private business. So that is what they claim Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been doing. And he has also entrenched his daughter to be the Yaoloja, where billions of naira are also got in. And a lot of issues here and there. You know, they said that the billboards in Lagos State and a lot of advertisement in Lagos State is headed by his own son too. You know, they've taken over all lucrative businesses that are in Lagos, and they are enriching themselves. And now, with the mini buses seemingly replacing bikes and tricycles, it is clear that this organization has the heirs of Lagos government only. It is possible that the bans were carried out in bad faith, only to serve the interest of the few. This is monopoly being played out. The business is not open to other people. You know, what I expect is the government coming up with a prototype or coming up with a standard and say, look, this is the standard of transportation we want in Nigeria now, or in Lagos State now, and you have to apply this way and do this and do that. And if government is going to take care of these businesses or give part of it to private, citizens to handle, I think that would be more beneficial rather than just one person owning the business. In the eve of the ban, reports that ride-hailing startups were obligated to pay 181.8 million, and that's about $503,000 annually. That is what it is. The ride-hailing startups are obligated to pay this amount of money. Who is going to pay this? Now, this showed signs that all was not well between ride-hailing platforms and transport union members and the state authorities. Soon enough, it led to a total ban which saw both independent and branded tricycle and bike operators They exited 6 local governments of Lagos State, which in fact is their main cash cow. On the legality of the Okada ban, Kayode Adegbola, founder and lead advisor of Goldburn Road Advisory, a firm that helps clients navigate the regulatory landscape in Nigeria, says that the Lagos laws makes exception of 200cc bikes, which include type ride-hailing startups like GoKada, Max Okada, and O-Ride use. Now, all of this have been packed. Yes, GoKada, Max Okada, and the rest of these businesses, they've been packed at the moment. You saw Lagos State Governor, he was making, he took pictures with the GoKada and the rest of these startup businesses. He took it, but all of a sudden they've been kept inside of the corner at the moment. So I don't know if that's the point now. I don't know if the obligated amount, 181 million, has to be paid by these companies too. I want to know what is really happening. It becomes important to ascertain the end game of this seemingly illegal ban. Is it order, security, or comfort, or same? We don't know what it is. Is it about security, comfort, or order? Because I thought that the order would have been put in place for certain of these companies. There are young people with ideas. They want to come up with ideas of like GoKada and stuff like that, so that you go online, you just tap, and they come pick you up. We know a lot of people are coming up with ideas, but with this, it is being shut down. Do you think this is good enough? Is it security-wise, comfort-wise? What is your take about this? Now, in an interview with Vanguard, Fola Tinubu says, "He is my uncle and mentor. He has been there for me for a long time. When I was in the United States, he was always there for me." In reply to the question about his relationship with the leader of Nigerian ruling party, the All Progressive Congress APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, also known as Jagaban, like I said, was governor of Lagos State from 1999 to 2007, which he simply, came up with certain processes that brought in and removed successive Lagos governor, including and brought in the current one, Sanwo-Olu, like I said. Now, is it possible that Fola Tinubu's uncle, Bola Tinubu, is still there for him, even as he makes a foray into the transport business in Lagos State? Is this ban worth the stress and hopelessness that thousands of Lagosians feel by having to trek long distance or suffer unemployment and inflation in Nigeria? Now, some Lagosians have since protested the ban, which they see as inhumane treatment from the government. On the 8th of February, as Lagos City Marathon held, Lagosians are affected by this ban. They held a city marathon, and a few people gathered at March Eko Atlantic, where the marathon was held, and they said, "You do not build a mega city by hiding the poor." And that's what it is. There are a lot of issues here and there, but what's your own take about this? Let us meet at the comment section below. And while you're at that, if you are not a member of this channel, we can build it together by you tapping on the subscription button and the red notification icon bell below. It will alert you whenever videos are uploaded. Thanks for stopping.